Bulldogs, two of the final 6 unbeaten teams in the country, will share Jerry Yeagley Field at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Bloomington, Indiana. My name is Andy Witchery, and tonight I'll be joined by Eddie Coten and Katie Kapusta for tonight's broadcast. Eddie, break down for us the top 10 matchup we have for us tonight.
Andy, today's matchup is a matchup that's crucial for not only both programs, but just the state of Indiana as a whole, because it represents just how talented these two in-state programs can be. Indiana coming into the day, number 6 in the country, Butler coming in at number 7. And talking to Coach Snape before this game, he mentioned how important it is to learn from these two schools playing at the top level. He's saying there's nothing better than going and watching live soccer at the highest level, whether it's the Indy 11 or the MLS or the top college kids in the country, and that's what we have today, Andy, and it's going to be a huge matchup between Butler and Indiana.
This is a treat for local soccer fans, Eddie, having both these two teams, as well as Notre Dame, up even north in the state, all ranked in the top 10 currently. And tonight, a little interstate rivalry here between the Hoosiers and Bulldogs. These two teams meet almost every year. Indiana leads the all-time series 21-4-3, but since 2009, both teams have won 3 matches apiece and drawn twice. Last year, Indiana took a 2-0 lead in the first 15 minutes at Butler's place. Butler came back and rallied to a 2-2 draw. These two teams were tied scoreless 2 years ago, and then Butler won 3-2 in overtime 3 seasons ago in 2013. So we expect a good matchup here tonight in Bloomington. Butler runs a 4-5-1 formation. The Hoosiers run a 4-4-2 that looks like a 4-5-1, so very similar formations, and this game is underway. Butler possesses the ball first, and they move it forward on the far sideline to Eric Leonard, who cannot quite hit it, possessed by the Hoosiers. Ball played wide to Reese Buckmaster, getting the start tonight for the injured Billy McConnell, who has not played in 4 games this season. The senior defender from Richboro, Pennsylvania, big-time defender on that back line for Indiana, but not getting the start tonight. He is injured. However, Grant Lillard, the junior from Hinsdale, Illinois, is back after missing 2 games with a stomach bug. Big presence there on the back line for Indiana.
And both McConnell and Lillard are crucial players for Indiana's defense. McConnell being out allows Reese Buckmaster to come in, who's actually been rather impressive in his past few games. Of course, he had the big assist to Ballard in their first goal against IUPUI, and it's going to be crucial for Buckmaster to play the same style that McConnell does, coming up on the pitch a lot, pushing forward and keeping Indiana aggressive. A team that hasn't scored a lot of goals all season, really needing those fullbacks to push up and pressure.
That's right. Indiana has scored just 11 goals this season, looking for offense. 4 goals coming off the foot of Richard Ballard this season, but after him, looking for some secondary scoring. Indiana has tried both Ballard as well as the Belmont transfer Rashad Hyacinth up atop their formation, but looking for some offense early this season.
And if you're Indiana, a player to look out for today that isn't Ballard or isn't Thompson is actually Reese Wedderburn, the sophomore from Wolverhampton, England, getting the start today. Not starting until around the middle of the season. Coach Yeagley mentioning prior to this game how he's one of the top finishers on the team. He's going to play up at the right wing position. If he gets a chance to take a rip on net, Indiana's got a great opportunity to score whenever he has the ball.
That's right. Just his second career start tonight against Butler, a top 10 matchup. Wedderburn has been a valuable reserve for this Hoosier squad. He's played in 7 matches this season. Does have 1 assist on the year. To mention the sophomore from Wolverhampton, England. Not a big guy, just 5'6", 156, but good speed on the outside on that right wing, as you mentioned, Eddie. Also has some of the best hair on the team, if I do say so myself.
Oh, not only the best hair, but also the best cleats as well, bringing those highlighter cleats to show off the flair that he has on the ball.
Speaking of hair, there is the man bun, Richard Ballard, driving right, cutting outside, looking for some help. He's in the box. He tries to cross, but it's deflected out the end line. But great individual effort there by Ballard, the redshirt senior, looking to get IU on the board early.
And Ballard doing what he likes to do, pushing out to the wing and using those fancy feet to get around the Butler defender. If only he could find a way to feed that one into the box, Indiana would have had a great opportunity.
And here's Reese Wedderburn on the corner. He and Tanner Thompson, the 2 main kickers for corner kicks. The ball sent into the box low. Derek Creviston tried to deflect it, but could not quite get it to reach the goal. Throw in here for Indiana once again from Wedderburn. And he'll hand it off to Thompson. The senior uses his teammate Wedderburn as a backdrop there. Indiana maintains possession, but Wedderburn not quite sure what was going on there, but Thompson uses back anyways. Some early offensive looks here for the Hoosiers. As you mentioned, just 11 goals through 9 games so far this season. Looking to pick up the offensive pace a little bit.
And it hasn't been shot creation, which isn't the problem. It's been just that last finishing touch. They had 36 shots against IUPUI. They had above 25 against Northwestern. They've been able to get into the box. It's just that last final touch, and we're seeing early on Indiana being aggressive, trying to get those shot opportunities, just nothing falling yet.
That is a frustrating part for Coach Todd Yeagley and these Hoosiers. You mentioned that Northwestern game, 28 shots while surrendering just 3 shots on the game, but still could not find the back of the net. That game was a double overtime 0-0 draw. So some frustrating draws here as Indiana looks to find their offensive touch early in this season. There's a big goal kick from Eric Dick, the 6'5" goalkeeper for Butler. Ball dispossessed by Butler, played forward, center of the field. Good deflection there from Lillard. Lillard was named the top defender in the country in a poll by Top Drawer Soccer. They interviewed coaches across the country and said that 6'5" Hinsdale, Illinois native is the best defender in the country. Certainly will have some pro looks in the future whenever he does leave Bloomington.
And Lillard's so crucial for this Indiana team because of the amount of confidence he provides the offense to push forward. When you've got him back there, you can send your fullbacks in an aggressive position, and that is really key to their confidence.
As you mentioned, Indiana does play a 4-4-2 formation, but at times they'll leave just 2 defenders back, usually Lillard and then the redshirt senior Derek Creviston, and they'll send up defenders like Andrew Gutman and Reese Buckmaster down the wings, and they'll overlap the lines a little bit, try to create some offense, and it's because they trust those 2 experienced veterans on the back line.
And even when they're sending their fullbacks forward, they've only given up 4 goals on the season so far, which is incredible, but it's going to be a big test now coming up against Butler and their prolific offense that's already scored 21 goals on the season.
That's right, the Bulldogs are averaging 2.63 goals per game this season, which ranks 3rd in the NCAA. North Carolina leads all teams, but Butler is just shortly behind them. Some players having some magnificent individual seasons already for Butler. And when you talk about Butler's offense, you have to start with the senior from Bristol, England, David Goldsmith, number 20, the lone man up top. He's 3rd in the country right now in active career goals with 36. Already has 7 this season to go along with 3 assists. As a freshman, netted 12 goals and was named the Big East Rookie of the Year. He's been a second-team All-Big East performer the past 3 seasons, and was a unanimous preseason All-Big East selection this fall. Hoosiers on the run, on the far side of the box, makes one cut right, loses the ball, and there's Dick. He's an aggressive goalkeeper, not afraid to leave his line and come out and he'll punch balls away. Butler's back line will play the ball back to him at times, and he's very engaged and active as a goalkeeper.
And you just see his size there, 6'5", very physically imposing. Definitely something to be concerned about if you're Indiana. If already struggling so much to try and find the back of the net, it's going to be hard to do when you're trying to get by a 6'5" goalkeeper like Dick.
Especially someone like Dick, who was a second-team All-Big East performer last year. One of the better goalkeepers in the conference in the Big East. And you mentioned his size. He makes Colin Webb look like a small guy, and Colin Webb is 6'1", not small at all, but he just is by far the biggest player on this pitch. Had 10 saves in the season opener against Louisville, and just a .85 goals allowed average so far this season. There's Buckmaster playing the ball to Ballard, makes one touch. Buckmaster picks it up. There goes Ballard in the box, cuts left, still maintains the ball, deflected there by Butler. Strong defending there from the Bulldogs. There's Galliford, deflected off of Trevor Schwartz. Will be a Butler throw-in. It'll be Tanner Witskin, the Carmel, Indiana native, getting the start tonight. Redshirt junior defender, stands at 6'2", 180. We see lots of size in this Butler lineup. Their handball called against Goldsmith. The senior Englishman, ball played back to Lillard. He has time and space. And there we see the chemistry between Lillard and Creviston. They'll play the ball back and forth a lot, take their time. Great chemistry between those veterans in the back line for the Hoosiers. Slide attempt there from Schwartz, but cannot maintain the possession.
Something you mentioned, the size from Butler. Indiana, a team that's been struggling to score lately, which is something we continue to mention throughout this broadcast. When a team struggles to score, it's important to try and take action off of set pieces, and Butler is going to do a great job all game defending those set pieces with the amount of size they have, not only in the defensive line, but in the back of the net with Eric Dick coming in at 6'5".
They also have 6'4" Joe Molden on the back line, sophomore defender from Bolton, England. There's Wedderburn picking up the ball, plays it back to an open Tanner Thompson. He has space. He's crafty. Looks left-footed shots deflected. Threat's not quite over for the Bulldogs. Indiana maintains possession on the far side. Chip into the box. There's a running attempt at the shot. Ball deflected. Schwartz, that was the man on the ball there. Good effort, but the cross was just a bit high. There's Gutman on the far side. Throws the ball in to Thompson. Thompson is sent to the ground. No call from the refs. There's Wedderburn. Bit of a skirmish there. Butler comes up with the possession. Wedderburn once again, the orange cleats there on the near sideline. The two Reeses, Buckmaster and Wedderburn, could not find the pass there, and will be a Butler throw-in.
But definitely a few opportunities there if you're Indiana to be excited about. Trevor Schwartz, one of the more aggressive players on this Indiana team, doing a good job getting into the box for that run there to try and get an opportunity. When speaking with Coach Yeagley prior to this game, Trevor Schwartz, he says, has the best shot on this team and pretty much has the green light whenever he wants it. And if you're Indiana, another guy you have to look for to try and add to that goal-scoring output.
If Trevor Schwartz is a stock, I think it's time to buy some of that stock. He started the past 5 games, including tonight. Started the season as a reserve, and there's Tanner Thompson coming up with the steal, and he's driving towards a goal, and he's taken out. Referee blows the whistle. He stops the game. We have a card, impending yellow card, given to Isaac Galliford. Here's the replay, Ed. He broke down what happened for us.
Well, you see Tanner Thompson using his speed to get by a few defenders. Galliford just trying to track back and react to that one. Not able to get there quick enough, and then coming in with studs up, which is not great, leading to that quick and early yellow card from the ref, and a great free kick opportunity. Indiana, again, struggling to score. You got to take advantage of those set-piece opportunities, and here's a big one now, because that was an aggressive tackle there from Galliford.
Miscommunication there for the Hoosiers. Referees blow the ball dead, and we'll see what happened there. Looks like they're not the official's not too happy with Wedderburn. Might have to take a re-kick here. Can't quite tell what happened.
It appears he took that early.
Took that early. Looks like they have to let the defense get set. He'll have to draw the 10-yard line to make sure the defenders are back. And before this kick, Eddie, let me ask you, was a yellow card the right decision there by the official?
I mean, Galliford came in with studs up, and that's something, especially in the college game, you've got young players, you don't want anyone to get hurt. It's a little too aggressive. It got to be the right call.
But not worthy of a red.
No.
So good call, we agree. Good call there by the official.
10 minutes in the game, no red needed.
With this magnitude of this game, 2 top 10 teams, and we have Thompson and Wedderburn into the box. Good attempt there off the left foot of Wedderburn, but just high right. He was going for goal. That was not a cross in any form. He was looking for the back of the net with that one, but just high and wide right. And Butler resets here on defense.
Wedderburn on that last shot. Didn't get that ball to dip as much as he wanted it to over the wall.
First touch of the evening for Colin Webb, the senior goalkeeper from San Diego, California, product of Rancho Bernardo High School. Has really grown over his 4 years here at Indiana. I know his first career start was a 5-4 double overtime loss to West Virginia. What a way to start his career. And now is manning one of the toughest defenses in the Big Ten, if not the country.
And not only manning it, but he's controlling it completely, leading the Big Ten in goals against average and save percentage, and ranking 15th in the nation in goals against average. He's been absolutely stellar for this Hoosiers team. Of course, Indiana only giving up 4 goals on the year. And if Indiana wants to continue to maintain those national championship hopes, he's going to be crucial for them moving forward.
Just a .30 goals allowed average. That's a remarkably small number, Eddie. 6 shutouts on the season. Nearly a 90% save percentage. He ranks at the top or near the top of almost all statistical categories for goalkeepers in the conference. There's Phil Fives, can't quite catch up to the ball. That's Dick that clears it across the midfield line.
And something to take note of early on so far, 12 minutes into this game, Indiana's had plenty of control of possession on the other half. Colin Webb barely getting involved yet so far. Butler going to have to try and change the pace a little bit if they want to get on the board.
That has to be an encouraging sign for the Hoosiers. We know their defense is strong, but they've probably not faced a test quite like this Butler offense. we've seen the numbers, 21 goals through 8 games. When you have some scorers on this Butler offensive line that have had, numerous goals, up to 6 and 7 already on the year, you know that the target is on the Hoosiers' back, and so far they have come up and faced all those challenges very well so far this game.
Free kick Butler.
Will be a free kick for Butler. That's Creviston. Looked like maybe been a handball on that jump there. That'll be Marco Haralambous taking this kick for Butler, the Cyprus native, who's a member of the 2015 Big East All-Freshman team. There's Gelden Hayes, plays it forward to Goldsmith. There's Jared Timmer, plays it to the far sideline, back to Timmer. See Butler using their patience right now, something we haven't quite seen this game, as Indiana has had a lot of time and possession in that attacking third. To Witskin, ball cleared off of Wedderburn.
And something I've noticed early on, a bunch of Butler players really moving all over the pitch, almost like they're all positionless. Goldsmith's spent plenty of time in the midfield so far trying to help Butler get possession in the midfield and win those battles, and that's crucial to them. As we see here, an aggressive tackle on the, again coming from Galliford. If I'm him, I'd be a little bit more careful, already playing around with that yellow card.
That is risky. Just 14 minutes into this match, already with a yellow card to his name. An aggressive tackle there, but he gets lucky. No call there, but he will have to be patient. A storyline to keep an eye on him, certainly for this game, in case he's involved in any more big hits on this pitch. Butler driving down the field. Strong defense there from the Hoosiers, but Butler studs the ball. There's Haralambous, plays it back. Near sideline to Witskin. With space, Wedderburn applying the pressure. There's Molden. The Englishman plays it forward to Timmer.
And looking back to Galliford and how aggressive he's been playing, red card's certainly a storyline Indiana has not evaded all season.
Goldsmith near the inline, plays it into the box with the shot, right-footed over the goal. Good effort there from Goldsmith. And now we go down to the third member of our team, Katie Kapusta. Katie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. As you guys were talking about earlier, Hoosiers have been a little bit banged up so far this season. Obviously, really happy to see Grant Lillard back in the starting lineup. But Billy McConnell is still injured. Coach Egley told me yesterday that that's still situational. He could come in later in the afternoon or later in tonight. Butler had no injury updates for us. But I do have to say, guys, it's a little chilly and wet down on the field tonight. How do you think that'll affect the play?
Great question, Katie. And Eddie, we talked about this pregame of if it does rain tonight, if it is a little bit chilly, how does that affect the flow of the game?
I mean, the advantage immediately has to go to the team that's more defensive in style, and that's Indiana, of course, only giving up 4 goals on the year. Butler already struggling on the offensive side of the ball, which is interesting. They're only going to struggle more if it gets wet on the pitch, slowing down the pace of play.
It's almost like golf a little bit. If the ball is wet, if it's slowing down in the grass, that certainly lends itself to the defense in this case, which is Indiana. If they choose to pack it in a little bit or get an early goal and then play defensively. But at this time, it looks like the rain is holding off for now. We did have some light rain this afternoon in Bloomington, but luckily it cleared up for tonight's match. Thompson plays it forward to Ballard. Rough touch there by Wedderburn, loses possession. And there's Eric Leonard, sends it forward, but Goldsmith can't quite reach it. And Eddie, I noticed the same thing about Goldsmith. He's playing back towards the midfield line, and that's not his position. They play at 4-5-1, and he is that one. With 7 goals on the season, as we mentioned, third active among all players in the country in career goals. He shouldn't be playing the ball back because that's not his position.
Butler's really going to have to start winning the battles without Goldsmith, because it's so crucial to have him playing up top, trying to create those opportunities, get on the end of big balls, and make key finishes when they need him. And having him play back in the midfield is not what Butler wants to do. Also important to take note of the fact that Indiana doing a really good job pressuring the defensive line of Butler, not giving them time to make decisions whenever they have the ball.
Ball played out wide to Thompson. Dribbles towards the inline, into the box. Tries to cross it. Ball is deflected out of bounds. Will be a corner kick for the Hoosiers. Just their second of the evening.
Corner kick for Indiana's number 10, Tanner Thompson.
You see the replay here. So the ball went out of bounds on the inline, setting up this corner. We see Tanner Thompson takes those on the left side. Reese Wedderburn will take them on the right side.
Indiana looks like will be trying to feed this far post. They've got plenty bodies set there.
Ball headed away by the defense. There's Trevor Schwartz, attempts the volley, but does not get a direct foot on the ball. There's Haralambous on the near sideline. He has time with Leonard to his left, who played there. Whistle called against Schwartz as Leonard goes down on the near sideline. Will be a Butler kick.
As we see there, coming in a little bit too aggressive, not really having much of a plan when he ran into that ball.
Bolden plays it to his teammate on the far side. That's Gelden Hayes, plays it out wide. Back to Gelden Hayes. Forward to Goldsmith, to Galliford. Switches fields to Haralambous. With Wiskins to his left, he'll go right instead to Timmer. Eddie, you're seeing lots more composure by Butler the first 15 minutes or so. Not too much organization, I would say, on the Butler back line, but now they're taking their time. Sends it forward to Leonard. Big touch there, deflected away by Creviston.
And you're right, this is crucial for Butler to start building their confidence as this game goes along. Of course, Indiana with the home field advantage, with plenty of fans here to watch this matchup. They're taking advantage early on, but now Butler's starting to build back and build that confidence, and it's going to be crucial to see how that develops.
And talking to Coach Paul Snape yesterday morning, he was saying that, you know, their offense is strong enough that it's not perfect yet, but they look very, very good at times, and he knows that at their best they can break down almost any defense in the country. He was saying that they might get an early strike against Indiana, but if not, they'll have to exercise that patience, take their time, work the ball around, and then maybe score a late goal if they have to.
And that's certainly the right mentality to have. Indiana, a team that's so strong defensively. You have to be patient. You have to find the right opportunity. It's not about finding a multitude of opportunities. It's about finding the right chance inside the box, maybe to Goldsmith or anyone else. Of course, Butler's offense averaging 2.63 goals per game, which is third in the country, so they know what they're doing when they're trying to get these last opportunities.
And if that Northwestern game taught us anything, is that, as you mentioned, you have to find the right opportunity, not just lots of them. You need to find, the best one, because Indiana had 28 shot attempts in that game but did not have a single goal. So it just takes one. It doesn't take 28. It may take, 10 shots or 12, however many, but finding that right shot is key. There's Tanner Thompson driving into the box, far side, and he'll pull back, makes the move left. There's Wedderburn with the attempt, but cannot slide there in time. Great ball across the line there from Thompson. We'll see the replay here, Eddie.
Tanner taking plenty of space, trying to feed a low cross into Wedderburn, and had plenty of space if Wedderburn was just barely able to get on the end of that one. That's a sure finish for Indiana, but definitely something to be confident with. Tanner Thompson does a great job feeding the box all the time, and that was a key opportunity for them.
Eddie, that's as good of a ball you'll get across the box as you'll see in this game. Wedderburn has to finish that. You have to wonder, though, maybe if the field is a little bit wet right now, maybe he didn't get the traction he needed to make that last step. But certainly a good attempt there for the Hoosiers.
Definitely good attempt. Also have to be a bit concerned with where Tanner Witzkin was positioned there. Definitely should have been closer to Wedderburn covering that, especially with a low cross. Not something you want to give up early on.
Thompson plays it wide to Frankie Moore on the far sideline with space. He'll save it in time, plays it in the box, back to Thompson. There's fives in the box to Ballard. Oh, just wide there from Ballard. We saw the pass from Phil Fives to Rich Ballard, and his shot goes just left of the goal. Eddie, here's the replay.
Some absolutely beautiful back and forth play. Ballard using his pace to get by the defender and have an opportunity like that. Just couldn't find the finish. Potentially, the physical presence of Eric Dick got in his head a little bit there as he tried to just sail that one into the top of the net.
Eric Dick is known as a ball hawk, will come off his line if he has to, and there may have gotten the head of Rich Ballard there on that attempt. But you can feel the momentum building in favor of Indiana here, Eddie, as they've had several close calls here in the past few minutes.
They certainly have the momentum and have the control. And what's key for them is they're not even allowing Butler to get on the counterattack, not allowing them to get back, force turnovers, and get possession with a few bodies in front of them. And that's been great for the Hoosiers.
Thompson with players to both his left and right. Rich Ballard going to the box. He'll play it there. Ballard back touch to Phil Fives on the left side. He'll shoot it. Dick there with the diving save, though. And Rich Ballard knew that was a good attempt. He'll put his hands on his face in disgust. But once again, another good setup there for the Hoosiers. Just can't find that last finish.
Ballard with a great back tap right there, doing a good job of holding up play as a center forward, which is something he's not usually used to. He's more of a winger, so that is beautiful if you're a Hoosier fan to see Ballard being patient, doing a great job holding up play, finding fives out wide.
We see at times, Eddie, that players will try to get too tricky, too creative, and, you know, try to be cute with their passes, but that, I think, was a perfect pass. You know, in transition, the back heel touch, 2 fill fives. The ball was hit in traffic, but Dick was there to make the save.
And that's really the key if you're going to be playing that center forward position. Ballard, of course, leading the team in goals with 4 so far this season. If you're going to be playing center forward, it's not always about taking the shot. It's about finding the right guy at the right time. And that's what Ballard did there. Indiana has to be confident moving forward, already with 5 shots on the night.
Galliford with the ball, grabbing across midfield, plays it to his right. Butler with space, excuse me. Shot attempt there, Webb with a diving save, ball still in play. Good save there from Andrew Gutman. He'll play it forward to his teammate.
But that was absolutely beautifully played by Gutman, able to keep that possession, allow Indiana to counter and not give up that corner kick.
That's right, saved the ball on the inline, kept it in play. And he's a guy that we'll see overlap throughout this game. He'll, you know, as a defender, come up across midfield, overlap lines with that midfield line. And he's a good attacking presence as well.
Andrew Gutman, of course, if you talked to Coach Yeagley before this game, he said that he was one of the best left backs in the country, and that's because of how good he is at possessing the ball in the other half of the field. He already has 22 shots in the season, which is a remarkable number for a defender. And of course, you see here he's doing a great job trying to possess the ball in that other half.
And the reason why he can do that, Eddie, is because of that back line of Lillard and Creviston. When they have 4 guys in the back line, they can send 2 forward because they trust that 2-man unit back there of Lillard and Creviston so much that they can stop any attack or counterattack on the Hoosiers' back line.
Certainly this Indiana defense has been impressive, but also thanks to the efforts of Colin Webb, who already has 6 shutouts on the year. So much to be confident with in that back line that allows them to push forward and be aggressive.
I think Webb has touched the ball all of maybe 3 times this game, which is a great sign, is that when your goalie doesn't even have to get involved early because that back line is stopping the attack far enough out that they don't even get shot attempts. And there's Wedderburn on the near sideline. He'll pull it back. Overlap there from Buckmaster on that right side. Plays it middle of the field to Thompson. Thompson up to Wedderburn. Cuts back, but stolen by Eric Leonard. There's Hare Lambouz. He'll make a move right. Play it to Timmer. There's Frankie Moore with the deflection, but not enough to keep possession.
Yeah, you're right. When you're talking about only having to touch the ball 3 times, that's something to be extremely satisfied with if you're Coach Yeagley or a Hoosier fan. But also, I've always wondered when watching soccer how a goalkeeper can go from barely touching the ball all game and then having to face 1 or 2 big key opportunities. And that'll be something to keep watch for when Colin Webb has to face that first or second big opportunity from Butler.
And we see that's number 9 on the sideline for Indiana. That is the Belmont transfer, Rashad Hyacinth, set to check in. You have to wonder, will he replace Ballard? Will he replace maybe one of the midfielders? We'll have to wait and see. But he had the breakout game of his Indiana career, even though it is short, against California earlier this season, hitting both the game-winning assist and then later a goal of his own. But has since been quiet. But off the field, certainly a big personality. Very jovial. He said that he's been here for 2 months, but it has felt like 2 years, and we'll have to see what he can do once he subs onto the pitch in a short while.
And when we're talking about a center forward like Hyacinth, the style of play he likes to play, he likes to use his strength to hold up the ball and try and find his teammates. So him saying that he feels like he's been here for 2 years is absolutely crucial for Indiana because of that
Timmer
chemistry.
with the shot, blocked by a diving Webb, then cleared away by Lillard. Great pace there from Timmer on the right side with Tanner Thompson in pursuit. There's Hare Lambouz saving the ball on the near sideline. He has 2 defenders on, cuts back right to Galliford. Butler taking its time on offense. One of the better setups we've seen so far this game from the Bulldogs. Good steal there from Frankie Moore.
Colin Webb
Thompson plays it to
Jared
5s.
Timmer's shot earlier for the Bulldogs.
There we see the Hoosiers once again holding their line well and then playing it forward. Another back heel flick from Ballard. But Phil Fives a bit ambitious there with that pass to Wedderburn.
And something to be concerned with if you're Butler just on that last possession is how far back Goldsmith was trying to help Butler maintain control. That's not what you want to see if you're the Bulldogs.
Fives in attack. Flag raised against Fives, and the ball may have bounced up and touched his arm. There will be a Butler kick. Ball played in the center to Hairlambus. He'll play it back to Molden.
Hairlambus has really been all over the pitch so far. He's been key to their any bits of possession that they've held.
Ball played out wide, far sideline. We see Goldsmith making his run towards the box. Ball played into the box. Webb coming off his line to make a diving catch.
Doing a great job using his physicality to get out there, and that's always crucial when looking at the play of a goalkeeper, his willingness to come out off his line to make saves like that.
Witskin with the header. Will be corralled there by Schwartz. Nettie, not a bad crowd here tonight, despite the weather, despite the threat of rain. Hoosier Army out strong. And this team and this school, I mean, they love their soccer program.
As we see there, that tough takedown. Yeah, this team has been quite the powerhouse over the years, of course, with their 8 championships, their last one coming in 2012. And part of that has been the fan support. And I don't know how they're dealing with all this cold. I can barely deal with it. It's pretty cold up here on the roof.
I've seen games here, Eddie, where there's pouring rain and fans are still out strong. We have the crowd band over there that stays engaged for all 90 minutes. Really one of the better atmospheres you'll see in all of college soccer. And there is Hyacinth subbing onto the field in favor of Wedderburn. Also will be Austin Pancho coming on for the Hoosiers.
And he replaces number 16, Reese Wedderburn. Also for Indiana is number 12.
You mentioned Hyacinth's physicality. He's 5'11", which for soccer standards is on the bigger side of things. And once he has defenders on his hip, he is tough to move. We also see Phil Fives subbing off the pitch with Pancho coming in. Pancho, he's a sophomore from St. Louis. Started 1 game this season, but has appeared in every match this year.
And something to take note of is now that Hyacinth is into the game, Richie Ballard will be moving to his more comfortable position at that kind of right wing, that second striker around on that right side, which allows him to use more of his pace. And we're going to take note of how that moves, how that works out moving forward.
There's Hyacinth. Once again, shielding defenders with his big body, plays the ball backwards to Thompson.
When he does that, all he has to do is connect with Thompson 1 or 2 times near the box, and the Hoosiers are going to have great opportunities at net. If Hyacinth can continue to build his confidence throughout this season, Indiana could have an absolutely potent offense.
And you have to think this is one of Indiana's better offensive lineups. When you have Hyacinth, Ballard, you have Trevor Schwartz, Thompson, Willard is healthy and active. This is about as good as they'll get on the offensive side of the ball.
And you have to think that's Coach Yeagley trying to find a goal here before the end of the first half, taking advantage of their momentum.
Here Lambers plays it out wide in the box. Webb with a diving save. Ball still alive in the box, but in possession by the Hoosiers. Butler starting to threaten more as this half goes on. There's Hyacinth making a run.
But it seemed there like Webb was a little bit surprised by that opportunity. It looked originally like it was going to be a nice low cross coming into Goldsmith, but just didn't have as much of a pace on it as expected, and Webb having to dive for it as it curled towards net.
A bit of a late jump there by Webb, but did do enough to save the ball. We're seeing Butler's offense starting to get a little more active here as the half goes on. Just 14 minutes left before halftime.
But back to the offensive lineup the Hoosiers are fielding right now. If you're Coach Yeagley, seeing how much possession you've had so far in this game and the momentum you're starting to build, it's key for them to try and find the back of the net with these last 13 minutes in the first half. Keep that momentum. And
ball played to Thompson in the box, left-footed cross, deflected away by Witskin. Ball still alive. Ballard's the man at the ball, plays it out wide to Thompson.
Tanner Thompson's shot is blocked.
2 shots blocked there by the Butler back line, but once again, great momentum and pace by the Indiana attack. Here's Butler on the counterattack. Timmer on the far sideline. Turning on the Jets, and there's Schwartz in defense. There's Galliford outside the box. And then Crevison with the big boot out wide, but still in Butler's possession. Shell Amboose, give and go there. Near sideline to Witskin with space. Pancho will play it back to Ballard as Indiana resets its counterattack. Ballard to Thompson. Back to Ballard. There we see the overlapping lines with Buckmaster on the right sideline. He'll cross in the box. Right-footed shot is blocked. Will be a corner kick here for Indiana, just their 3rd of the game. But there, Eddie, you mentioned that the overlapping lines, there's Buckmaster doing what Indiana's defenders often do, playing up with the cross, and then that sets up a corner kick.
Doing a great job there, Buckmaster, finding some space, and now Indiana going to have to try and take advantage of this corner opportunity.
Substitution for the Hoosiers. We see Rich Ballard coming off. Corey Thomas coming on the field. Thomas from Corydon, Indiana. And they'll set up right by Eric Dick, the 6'5" keeper for the Bulldogs. Headed in the box. And they're just wide right. Great ball by Schwartz.
And that's something we've seen a few times now from Indiana off the corner, trying to find Derek Creviston near post. Key opportunity just wide of the net.
Creviston looking for a 2nd career goal. Good attempt there on the header, but just wide. You mentioned that near post.
Butler substitution entering the match is number 6, Bennett Kim.
There's Bennett Kim coming on the pitch for Butler. Another Carmel, Indiana native. Junior midfielder. Stands at 5'8", getting his first action here tonight. Did score 1 goal this season against IUPUI, which was a 4-2 victory earlier this season. Ball played there to Thomas.
IUPUI, an opponent Indiana as well, has played, coming out with a 2-0 victory against them with 36 shots, only giving up 1 to IUPUI.
We see just about 10 minutes left in this first half. Still scoreless here in Bloomington. See, both sides have had lots of good opportunities, more so for the Hoosiers, but Butler has been active around the box as of late as well. Lots of action on the near sideline. Witskin will play it back to Molden. Butler switches fields there on the defensive side with Hyacinth in pursuit. We hear lots of talk from the sidelines right now from Coach Todd Yeagley, screaming for his players to get in the game. They've had their chances but could not quite finish. Several crosses across the box but could not find that one touch to find the first goal of the game.
Most likely the reason why Yeagley is yelling right now is he wants his guys to pressure more towards this Butler defensive line, not give them the amount of time that they've had to make decisions. So we see it's taken up right now from the center back position.
Sutton plays it out wide, far sideline. Ball in the corner. It's a foot race. Butler comes up with a good defense and recovery there from the Hoosiers. We'll see a Butler player goes down past the inline. Can't quite tell who that was. Tanner Thompson in pursuit. Will be a goal kick here as we see the replay here, Eddie.
Plenty of physicality from Thompson, coming in only at 5'7", showing that he's more than just a small body, and setting up that Indiana goal kick.
That was Goldsmith that went down. A name that was a big name entering this matchup, but have not heard his name too often here tonight. We've seen him playing back towards the midfield line a little bit too much in our opinions. He is that lone striker in their 4-5-1 formation, but cannot find an offensive rhythm so far in the first half.
Of course, David Goldsmith, one of the best goal scorers in the country.
Pancho overruns it. Butler comes up with it on the defensive line. Ball played up to Goldsmith with Lillard on him. And the 6'4" Lillard will win that most times as he did there.
Goldsmith, probably part of his struggles has to do with the fact that he's facing one of the best back lines in the country in Creviston and Lillard.
We see a corner kick for the Hoosiers right now. And you mentioned the back line, not just their talent, but the size as well, because Goldsmith getting it just 5'9", when you have the 6'4" Lillard and the 6'1" Creviston. There we see ball off of Butler, will be a corner here for Indiana.
And if you're Butler, you want to try and take advantage of Goldsmith's pace. You're not going to win a physical battle, being the fact that he's only 5'9", and Lillard coming in such a large frame.
Cross from Thompson in the box, headed out, but just across that far post. Once again, another close call for Indiana. Just cannot find the back of the net. So we see the replay here, Eddie.
Tanner Thompson, of course, bringing in a perfect ball right into the middle of the box. That's what he always tries to do, and barely missed there.
Trevor Schwartz there at the header. Not the biggest guy, but found the ball, located it, but just wide. But another great attempt for the Hoosiers. But yet another shot that goes just off the mark.
And this is quite similar to what we've seen all season from Indiana. Maintaining control, maintaining a possession, but not able to find that final finish so far in this game.
There's Galliford. Spins, plays it out wide. They've got 5 guys on the attack. Into the box for Butler. Shot played out, cleared by sliding Creviston.
That is a huge play by Creviston to make that save.
I'm not sure Webb would have been there in time, but Creviston playing off the right side as we see the replay there.
Just a low cross sent in, trying to find Goldsmith. Unable to, though, thanks to the efforts of Creviston.
Corey Thomas comes up with the ball, plays it out wide to Pancho. You saw Webb there give a pat in the back to Creviston. He knew that he may not have been there in time, but the defender was able to recover and clear that one out of danger. We've not said Hyacinth's name much since he subbed in. A big body on that attacking line, but has not found the ball in the right spot yet this game. Thompson on the attack, plays into Pancho. Cleared away by Butler to Galliford. Nice back heel flick by Thompson to Corey Thomas in the far corner. Will juke left and right, plays it back to Thompson. Cross into the box, headed out by Frankie Moore, but right into the hands of Eric Dick.
And Indiana doing a majority of their work on the outside of the box, and that's not what you like to see if you're a Hoosier fan. And if Indiana can't find the back of the net with these last 5 minutes and 30 seconds, that's going to be a huge momentum killer for the Hoosiers going into halftime.
Galliford to Goldsmith with Lillard in pursuit. They're shoulder to shoulder. Goldsmith plays it in the box, but no one is there. Corey Thomas there clears it. Referee blows play dead. Now we go down to the third member of our crew, Katie. Katie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. As we've mentioned before, this is the battle of IU's defense versus Butler's offense. IU's defense is one of the top in the country, having 6 shutouts so far, 4 in a row. But Butler's offense, they've scored 21 goals in just their 8 games. And that's coming from 7 separate players. Kind of astonishing. But IU hasn't been quite as lucky, only scoring 11 goals in their 9 games. But Coach Yeagley told me yesterday they're still confident because they're creating chances. And they're actually creating the most chances in the NCAA right now. But Butler is right behind them with the second most shots in the NCAA. So just a game of contrast. We'll have to see how the second half goes after this. Up to you guys.
Thank you so much, Katie. We do have 4 minutes left in the first half. We see both sides would love to get that first score to go into halftime with that 1-0 lead. But so far, nothing is given in either direction.
And this matchup so far has been really indicative of what we expected. Indiana's defense coming up against this potent Butler offense has done a great job controlling any Butler opportunity they've had. And Indiana has done a great job finding possession on the other side, just not getting that finishing touch.
That's right. Indiana loves to maintain possession. They'll have the ball outside the box and play it in. But as you mentioned, they have to get closer to the goal. You know, it's not rocket science. The closer you get, the better chance you have of scoring a goal. And they'll create shots and shots on goal, but they have to find that one cross or that play in the box that makes the difference in this game.
When you talk to Coach Yeagley after many of these matchups Indiana's had where they've struggled to find the back of the net, he's still figuring things out with his lineup, and we've seen that already, bringing in Hyacinth, moving around Ballard from center forward position to wing. Indiana's just trying to figure out a rotation that will get them as many opportunities as they can.
It's Corey Thomas on the run, plays it up to Hyacinth, but blocked away there by Molden. Nettie, I don't think that there's such a thing as too much depth, but you have to wonder if there's so many pieces and worthy pieces that, deserve minutes in this rotation, that it makes his job a little bit tough at times to figure out who should play with whom at what point, as we see Galliford here on the run into the box, deflected there, good save by Indiana's back line. Hyacinth comes up with it. Will be a Butler throw. But Eddie, what do you think about Indiana's depth? At some point, are there almost going to be too many good players that deserve to be out there?
It's an interesting question because they've got so many bodies out there that can score, so many talented players. But last year, they had a very settled lineup around Femi, and Femi did such a good job finding the back of the net constantly. And it's almost like you'd rather have that one key scorer than a bunch of bodies you rotate in and out trying to find chemistry that works.
Goldsmith on the run to the box, plays it into the box, but just left from the goal. Physical play there from Tanner Thompson, sends down Ostrowski. And when you're studying this Indiana lineup, Eddie, you have to know almost 20 names because he rotates these guys like it's a revolving door. They have some of their set staples of, Webb and goal and Creviston and Lillard in the back line, but he moves these guys around. They have reserves that are worthy of playing, as we see here. Goldsmith with a left-footed shot goes just wide. That one never really had a shot, but still one of the few shots that Butler has had that's on goal.
But you mentioned that the depth that Indiana has, it just speaks to the talent level of this program. Honestly, if Indiana fielded a bunch of players from the bench that hadn't played all season, they'd still be able to compete with any team in the country at this point. Just how well Coach Yeagley recruits and brings in these guys.
Thomas plays it wide to Buckmaster. Will spin around, maintains possession. There's Frankie Moore with the cross, far side of the box, headed away by Butler, but Indiana maintains possession.
Just look at how many bodies Indiana's bringing forward.
Thompson on the run, right-footed shot, but right to Eric Dick, something that we've seen over and over this season, is they'll create these chances and find a shot that goes right to the goalkeeper. There's a replay, the right-footed shot off Thompson.
And that's not a great opportunity. You don't want to be taking these shots at the top of the box. That's not the highest likelihood of going in. It's, like you said, not rocket science. Indiana's going to need to just push a little further into the box.
And especially that possession, too, with just over a minute remaining, we saw Thompson on the run with, teammates around him, forcing that shot through 3 defenders that's when your last good scoring opportunity is at the half. You have to be smarter than that, I think, and drive a little bit closer to the box or give up the ball.
That's something Coach Yeagley talks about. His biggest frustration is that decision-making near the box, trying to find the right ball, trying to play the right possession. Not always the amount of possessions, it's the right opportunity, and Indiana struggled to do that so far as we still see a 0-0 game.
See, the band is picking up its pace. Eric Dick taking his time with this goal kick, 15 seconds and counting left in this first half.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Ball is cleared up into the air as this half will expire 0-0. We see this top 10 matchup, Indiana versus Butler. Great effort on both sides, but still tie game so far through one half, Eddie.
We've seen a lot of exciting action. We've seen Indiana do a good job maintaining possession, just not being able to find that finish. And moving forward in the second half, I'd like to see a little bit more action from Goldsmith, a little bit more opportunities for Butler, but certainly some exciting action coming as we have the number 6 and number 17 team in the country.
Lots of talent on the field in this first half. We saw 10 shots by Indiana, 6 by Butler. We'll see some of the highlights here as we saw Eric Dick coming off the line. Great cross there by Tanner Thompson, but Reese Wedderburn could not find the finish. Gabe Goldsmith with a few shots that went just wide. Webb coming off the line to make a few good diving saves. 4 corners for Indiana, but never found that one cross in the box that could be headed or volleyed in the box. Eddie, what's the key in the second half?
The key in the second half is Indiana's got to push further into the box. They've got to find better opportunities. Look for Rashad Hyacinth to get more action. Do some work holding up the ball at the top of the box, trying to find Thompson or any others options.
For Eddie Coten and Katie Capusta, my name is Andy Witry, and we'll see you in the second half here in Bloomington. Welcome back to Bloomington, Indiana, where we have a scoreless game so far between 2 top 10 in-state opponents, number 6 Indiana and number 7 Butler. Both sides had their chances in the first half, but neither one could find that one strike in the back of the net. Eddie, what did you see in the first half?
Honestly, nothing that surprising. Indiana's defense, one of the best in the country, have already kept the shutout at halftime, and now that means they've held a shutout for 468 minutes straight. Quite incredible stuff. And Butler not getting as many shot opportunities as we would have expected from their potent offense. I'd expect that to change moving forward in the second half, getting a little bit more aggressive, bringing players more up on the pitch. But no matter what, it's been exciting. There will be more exciting soccer to come with the number 6 and number 7 team in the country.
And Eddie, you mentioned those 468 minutes. Just to give some perspective to the audience for just how long that is, we could drive to and from Indiana to Butler and back 4 times. 8 total trips between Bloomington and Indy, and they would not have scored a goal in that time. That was 5 games ago when IU allowed 1 goal against Maryland. Second half underway here. Hoosiers have possession on their back line. Ball sent forward to Rich Ballard, who had a late substitution in the first half, to get some rest, and now back onto the pitch trying to find that goal to break through this 0-0 draw. Ball played back to Dick, as Butler often likes to do so. He comes out of the box when he needs to. That's Gutman on the near side. He has teammates up in front. There's Phil Fives. Plays it forward to Trevor Schwartz, but loses possession. We now go down to the third member of our crew, Katie Kapusta. Katie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Yegley. Coach Yegley, first of all, what do you guys have to do just to get the ball in the back of the net after 3 shots on goal and 10 shots overall?
Well, I thought we created some great chances again. I mean, the goals are coming. Again, I thought we had a good 45, a little bit sharper again with maybe that cross or the spacing in the box. But we're getting some really good looks. We just, again, a little bit unfortunate. A couple, again, we found the keeper instead of the corners. We just got to be a little bit more accurate.
What changes will you have to make if this is the same scenario coming down to the end of the half?
We're going to keep doing what we're doing. I think we have the right thoughts and the personnel. And it's just, again, we got to continue to kind of wear them down. I thought they fatigued more so than us, and I think, again, our ability to kind of press them and make them, cough a few up in their back half, I think will give us a few chances.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Katie and Coach Yegley. And she mentioned there the depth of this team. You mentioned that, Butler, you saw maybe getting some weird legs in the first half, and that's where Indiana, they can go to their bench, they can pressure, they can sub off. We know there are no sub limits in college soccer. Their ball played in the far corner as Tanner Thompson, right-footed cross into the box, headed away by Molden. There will be a corner there. And Eddie, just how valuable is that depth that they can go to their bench and they can, pressure? So we see here that was Buckmaster with the cross deflected off of Molden's head. But what does that depth do for a team as this comes down to the wire potentially?
It allows Indiana to really pressure throughout the rest of the second half, and that is something really crucial that Coach mentioned, that little tidbit about how Butler is starting to fatigue a little bit. It's going to be interesting to watch.
There's Dick, punches it away. We see the 6'5" frame of that goalie coming in handy. Will be an Indiana throw-in. Phil Fives plays it back to Thompson. He has room in front of him. Ball played into the box, right-footed cross, headed up by Butler. There's Dick with the punch, and he goes down to the ground too. The rest not over. There's Pancho, plays it back to his teammate, deflected. That was Krevison with the shot just outside the box. Buckmaster with possession. Switches fields to Thompson. As a man forward in, Gutman plays it out wide again to Fives near the end line. Left-footed cross into the box. There, ball loose. Deflected away by Butler. And there's Dick. Dove to grab the ball but couldn't quite reach it. Krevison turns on the Jets and clears at the far sideline. Will be a Butler throw-in. But yet again, another good chance for Indiana. Dick came up short on that dive, but no one was there to finish that cross.
Good chance, great chance. Best chance they've had so far in the night. Indiana doing a remarkable job, causing some chaos there and putting some pressure on Dick, having to make a few key saves for Butler. And something you gotta like if you're a Hoosier fan, the amount of decisions that had to be made around the box, some good choices to push out to the flanks rather than go up the middle, and that created plenty of space for Fives and Gutman to really put work on in that last possession.
Great setup there by Ballard, using the back of his head, almost a man bun pass right there. Sets up the play in the corner to Pancho, plays it back to Fives, outside the box, stolen away by Butler. There's Suddick, plays it up to Galliford. He picked up the yellow card in the first half, taking down an IU player. He'll have to play somewhat less aggressively this half in order to stay in this game.
And you mentioned it, the man bun pass there. I've always been intrigued by strikers with a man bun, if ever offered the opportunity to head one off the man bun, how that might affect maybe the curve of the shot or the pressure on the shot. And that's something to always be watchful. especially with players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Roberto Firmino in the Premier League, how they ever get man bun headers.
Still worth 1 point though, Eddie, so we'll have to see how much of a difference that makes in the professional ranks. There's Dick getting the ball, plays it back forward. Butler resetting here on the back line. Plays it forward to Sutton. You see the Hoosier faithful withstanding this cold and the wind outside tonight. Chilly evening in Bloomington, but they're here supporting their top 10 soccer program. Both teams, as we mentioned, 2 of the final 6 unbeaten teams in the country meeting here tonight. Indiana 5-0-4 on the year. Butler 7-0-1, riding a 7-game winning streak. They've scored at least 2 goals in all 7 of those wins, but have not scored yet tonight. Schwartz plays it out wide to Thompson. Goes nutmeg into the box. Right-footed shot. They're deflected. Good shot attempt there, cleared away by Butler. Left-footed strike just over the net, and there, Trevor Schwartz can't believe it. He has a strong left foot and went just over the box. We see the replay here, Eddie.
Indiana again getting a great opportunity by the box there. Thompson feeding that cross in for Ballard, having it bounce around for the perfect guy to take that shot at the top of the box. Trevor Schwartz just unable to get it under the crossbar.
Schwartz, known as Indiana's best shooter, he has a green light from almost anywhere there and played it to his left foot. Caught the volley perfectly, but just over the crossbar. And a great attempt before that, too, by Ballard. But, you know, the 6'5" Eric Dick was there just to prevent that shot and knock it away.
And on that opportunity for Ballard, that was all created by Tanner Thompson, of course, with that Meg at the top of the box, far side, and then that beautiful cross that able to quickly adjust from getting by his defender and still putting a perfect ball on that one. He's been creating so many problems for Butler and will be looking to do so moving forward.
Ostrowski with the ball, plays it back to his teammate. Center of the field for Butler. Sutton plays it to the far side. And you mentioned just the importance of Thompson to set up there. You know, I liken him to kind of the point guard of this Indiana team. Not the biggest guy, but crafty, very shifty, great ball skills. You know, tough to get a steal from him. And there with a great setup, played to Ballard, but not quite enough to get that first goal of the game. Loose ball there picked up by Gutman. He's on the run. He has Pancho to his right and Buckmaster to his left. Plays it left to Buckmaster in the box. He'll pull back, right cross. Shot just wide on the far post. And Buckmaster falls to the ground. That is Ballard, excuse me. Ballard there with the shot. See the replay here. Gutman dishes it off to Ballard.
And Ballard doing a great job cutting back inside, which he's so good at, just unable to find that top corner. But a great shot opportunity again, and Indiana continuing to put on that pressure in these first 10 minutes of the second half.
Ballard with visions of an upper 90 goal, but just goes just wide right of the post. Another close call for the Hoosiers, but that's not enough. Good save there by Fives, dancing along the sideline. 3 defenders in pursuit, plays it back. There's Pancho, looks for a teammate, back to Fives, in the box, left-footed, nutmeg, cross in the box, deflected out the end line. Will be a corner kick for the Hoosiers, their first of the second half.
But we're really starting to see Indiana get better opportunities because of the fatigue level for Butler, you'd have to say. Indiana doing a great job pressuring and getting that chance for Fives. It's the pressure that's causing the turnovers to allow Indiana to go on the counter and get better numbers, and because of it, we've seen some great chances.
Thompson's cross in the box, headed up. Last touch there by Creviston, it looked like. Official, though, awards it another Indiana kick. Second chance here for the Hoosiers. Now up to 7 corner kicks on the evening.
We see Creviston doing a good job dummying on that one, not touching it at all.
Ball headed high in the box. Galliford picks it up. And he has room in front of him. 2 defenders in chase. Approaching the attacking third for Butler with no teammates in sight, however. Goldsmith to his right, he crosses left. Back in the box. Goes down, no call there from the officials. Webb will scoop it up. Great individual effort there by Galliford. So you see the replay here.
Galliford doing a great job cutting by his defender, trying to create space, but then going down a little bit easily. Galliford, not one that's been afraid of the ref's reprimandment. That's an interesting play there.
Certainly a good no call there by the official. I'm not sure he was touched. There the official awards an Indiana kick. But two good cutbacks there from Galliford. He had Goldsmith behind him to his right. But that was pretty much a one-man attack for Butler. Not what you'd like to see. Once again, would like to see Goldsmith push forward a little bit more, that lone striker for the Bulldogs. This game is still scoreless with 35 minutes to play.
So we take a look at it again. Doing a great job cutting back to the inside, creating pressure, cutting back out, and then just falling down quite easily. A great cutoff there by Frankie Moore.
And there, if anything, Eddie, I think the Galliford should have at least tried a shot. Instead of falling down, trying to pick up that penalty kick, at least give it a shot and see what happens. He was approaching that 6-yard box. Instead, it was an Indiana kick, and the Hoosiers now on the counterattack. Schwartz plays it back to Gutman, near sideline. He'll play it forward to a streaking Ballard. Frankie Moore, middle of the field. He'll play to the open space with a man to his right. We see great spacing right now by Indiana, not getting each other's way. Good overlap between the lines here. Creviston pressing forward. Just two players from Indiana on the defensive side right now of the field. Ostrowski with the header. Up to Suddick, the man with 6 goals on the year for the freshman Englishman. Their interesting call from the official will be a Butler kick.
Free kick Butler.
Suddick earning that kick for Butler. We saw last game against Providence, Suddick earned 2 fouls in the box. Jared Timmer got the game winner on a penalty kick, and then Suddick finished his own penalty kick later in the game for that win in Big East play.
And Suddick has been rather impressive all year, and in this game, leading Butler in shots so far with 4. He's going to be crucial for them moving forward if they want to try and find the back of the net.
Both he and Goldsmith rank among the nation's leaders in both, shots per game, shots on goal per game, two of the better creators in this country on the offensive end.
And the interesting dynamic between the two of them is Goldsmith, of course, being that senior leader, coming in with plenty of experience and composure, and then having Suddick, the freshman, coming in under him as that center midfield position. It's kind of, they play off of each other, and they must play off each other with that senior freshman leadership relationship. And of course, also both of them, both English players. It's interesting to take note and think of maybe how that might boost their chemistry, the two internationals coming in from the same country.
Schwartz on the run, comes up with the ball, plays it out wide. Mr. Frankie Moore plays it to Ballard. Hare Lamboos picks it up for Butler. Little ping pong action on the far side for Butler as they reset the counterattack here. Ball played to Goldsmith. Good pressure there by Lillard to win possession. Two-man game between Fives and Gutman on the near sideline. Gutman on the run. He'll make a move. Pulls it back. Looks for Five. Close pass. Poor spacing there by Indiana, but they still have possession. Plays it out wide to Thompson. Right-footed strike outside the box will be just wide left. Bit ambitious there from Thompson with men to either side of him. Probably should have dished that off to a teammate, right, Eddie?
Yeah, I know Tanner Thompson's one of the better players in this country, being a Mac Herman Trophy watch list member, as we see this shot again. But that shot's just a little bit too far out from net. We saw Andrew Gutman doing a great job maintaining possession, using his control. You just like to see Indiana try and get closer to the box there.
It's almost a carbon copy of one we saw from Thompson late in the first half, where he's about 25 yards away from the goal, a low bouncing shot. That might work sometimes, but I'm not sure those are the scenarios where that shot is really worth the attempt. Ball played long to Goldsmith. He is in pursuit. Will he save it in time? He does. Cross it in the box to Leonard, but there's Indiana's defense recovering in time. There's Timmer. Long shot deflected. Goal for Butler. Jared Timmer picks up the loose ball, deflected in the box, just wide left of Webb's reach, and Butler's ecstatic on the sideline. We see the replay here, Eddie.
A huge long shot there, just deflected. Nothing Colin Webb could do because it looked like that was going the other direction. And a huge goal scored there by Butler, seemingly having no momentum and finding the back of the net with 31 left to go.
Timmer now scoring in 2 straight games. Scored his first career goal for Butler last game against Providence, here matching it 2 games in a row. Ball on the ground, he runs up. Ball is deflected off of, it looks like Lillard, and then Webb gets a paw on it, but still has the power to go in the back of the net. Butler taking this 1-0 lead midway through the second half.
And that goal was completely set up by Goldsmith and his pace, able to get out there in the wing, keep it alive, and then a poor clearance there from Creviston leaves the ball up for Timmer, and then kind of taking a miraculous long shot, getting a perfect deflection, and then nothing you can do if you're the Hoosiers except get back on the attack now and try and find the back of the net.
And you mentioned that individual effort there from Goldsmith. That ball was headed out of bounds. That should have been an Indiana goal kick, but he sprinted, got on his horse, and saved that in time. Played it back. Eventually, Timmer was there, put his right foot on it, and found the back of the net. To no fault of Webb. Good effort there to even get a hands on it. Rough bounce off the deflection off of Indiana's defender. And now Butler, a very opportunistic strike. Here's the save from Goldsmith. Great effort. Pushes it back. Poor clear there from the back line of Indiana, and Timmer runs up full steam and deflected. Webb tries to recover in time but cannot. There's Indiana on the attack. Ballard plays it back. Will be a corner kick.
Corner kick Hoosiers.
Looks like that last goal was right through Lillard's legs. Really just an unfortunate sequence for Indiana, but very opportunistic for the Bulldogs. But there's still lots of time left in this match. Thompson sends it in the box, the far side, headed up, and then cleared away by Molden. Whistle against Butler. That's Goldsmith. The man that set up that last goal gets the foul called against him. Will be a card here against Lewis Suddick. A few too many words to the official on that last foul call. Second card of the game. We saw Isaac Galliford get a yellow card in the first half.
Suddick, excuse me.
This play is stopped here as the officials and coaches are chatting about that last decision. We see the replay here.
Goldsmith just trying to hold up Buckmaster there, getting a little too aggressive on that one. Justified foul call, but then Suddick with a few too many words for the ref getting that yellow.
It's now 2 cards against Butler this game. Kick from Creviston, near sideline to Gutman, and that one is high and out of bounds. No chance at all for Gutman to save that one.
Butler goal, scored by number 5, Jared Timmer.
If there's a positive for Indiana this half, Eddie, it's that 6 goals scored against Butler this half, or this season rather, have come in the second half. They've allowed 7 on the year, 6 coming after halftime.
And that potentially speaks to Butler, who fields a pretty small lineup, not as much depth as Indiana has. And as we move forward in these last 30 minutes of the second half, Indiana's going to look to use that depth to continue to put on more pressure, try and force turnovers, push the counterattack, and get a good opportunity close to the box.
Galliford on the run. Plays it to Haralambous. Back to Galliford. 2-man game here. With Suddick on the near sideline, he'll save it. Good short passing right now from the Bulldogs. And he'll cross field, but way behind his teammate. Poor pass from Suddick, but Butler recovers just in time before the ball goes out of bounds. Dispossessed by Indiana. No call by the official, but here, quick counterattack for Butler. There's Goldsmith. Give and go. Goldsmith in the box, right-footed shot. Goal, Goldsmith. The second goal of this game for Butler, back-to-back. The Englishman with his 8th goal on the season. Quick give and go there with his teammate, and he wins that battle. Finds the upper 90, and Butler leads 2-0 here in Bloomington.
A beautiful give and go there, finding Goldsmith with plenty of space, and then a rip into the top of the net. Nothing you can do there if you're Webb, but a little bit suspect defensively, giving just too much space to one of the best goal scorers in the country.
Goldsmith, the 3rd leader right now actively in career goals in the country. Now 37 in his career. He now has 8 goals and 3 assists this season, just adding his 8th there moments ago. Great 2-man game with Goldsmith. Now Indiana has dug themselves a hole with just under 30 minutes left to play in this game. And that's now 8 straight games that Butler has scored at least 2 goals, up to 23 on the season.
But if you're Indiana, this game is nowhere near over. They've had a majority of the attacking opportunities. They're just going to have to try and find that finish, bring more bodies forward.
Ballard on the near side, towards the inline, goes in the box, right-footed cross. Head attempt there, a second, but the 6'5" Eric Dick is there to corral the ball. And he'll just take his time here on the reset.
Something that's important to note with Butler scoring those last 2 goals pretty much off of the work of Goldsmith, one off the assist and then the other off the give and go. Butler's done a great job adjusting here in the second half. They know Goldsmith is not a physical guy, and they've been able to find Goldsmith in more space, allow him to use his pace, and that's been absolutely crucial for them moving forward.
Hoosiers on the attack here, ball played near side to Phil Fives. He has space on the far side of the box, left-footed cross, goes over the heads of everyone. There's Witskin playing the ball out wide. And you mentioned Goldsmith's game is not power, it's not size, it's not physicality, it's speed and space. We saw that first goal, he's the one that saved it. Ultimately, I don't know if he got credit for the assist, but it was a de facto assist if it wasn't credited. Goal was ultimately scored by Jared Timmer, and the last one, the give and go, space in the box, and then on the run to his right foot, that upper 90 goal to take the 2-0 lead. As you mentioned, one of the best goal scorers in this country we've seen the past 4 years. He was named to the second team All Big East teams each of the past 3 seasons. And has been honored quite frequently this season, in fact. He's earned both National Player of the Week from several publications, as well as a 2-time Big East Player of the Week, now up to 8 goals on the season. Hoosiers in the box. A 4-man there for Butler to knock the ball away. Harold Lamboos plays up to Goldsmith again. Good acrobatics there on the far sideline. He'll pass it back to his teammate, but stolen away by Thompson. There's Pancho, makes the move to Ballard. Ballard resets. Loses control of the ball. Harold Lamboos plays it back to Timmer. Thompson on the run, making his move right. Good footwork there, plays it into Pancho, but knocked away. We see Rashad Hyacinth on the near sideline, set to check in. We saw him as a sub in the first half as well, looking to make a difference. Schwartz plays it to Gutman in space. Left-footed strike. Good pace on that ball, but once again, right to Dick, who knocks the ball over the goal. The Hoosiers will have their 8th corner of the game as we see Hyacinth coming on the field.
And Andrew Gutman putting up his 23rd shot of the season. One of the more aggressive left backs in the country, giving a great rip on that one and setting up this corner, which is key for Indiana.
Thompson's cross into the box. Hyacinth deflected in the air. Ball still alive in the box. Numerous chances there for the Hoosiers, very close to the goal, but no one could quite get a foot on it. Saw Hyacinth, Lillard in the area, Thompson as well. Buckmaster on the far sideline.
A situation like that is all about composure. Indiana having great chances, ball bouncing around, just have to stay calm moving forward.
Galliford on the move. It's Goldsmith to his right. Left side of the box, left-footed shot goes high over the crossbar. Galliford looking for that 3-0 lead for Butler, but just high.
See, he has plenty of space there to take that shot off his left foot, but Indiana doing a good job covering Goldsmith on that one, making Galliford take it himself, and he's not the big goal scorer that Butler has. It is Goldsmith, so good defense there from Indiana, tracking back on a Butler counterattack.
And some tough luck there for Galliford. Great shot attempt, but gets subs off in favor of Bennett Kim, the Carmel, Indiana native, the junior with 1 goal on this season. There's Suddick, plays in the middle to Kim. Back to Suddick, near side. He goes down. No call by the refs. And then Gutman down as well. Have to wonder if the field is a little bit slick from today's rain. Some back and forth play on the near sideline in front of Butler's bench.
Take a look at the field. Seems like the turf is getting ripped up so far. We've seen plenty of back and forth play.
Leonard comes up with a loose ball to Suddick. Off the foot of Fives. Teams cannot find a way to clear it out in front of this Butler bench. We'll have Ostrowski here at the throw on near sideline.
And Butler, being up 2-0, have really now let the game just sort of come to them, looking for counter-attacking options. And that's led to them continuing to build their momentum.
Hyacinth cuts left. Dishes it off to Fives. Cuts right then left. On the move. Turns on the Jets. Left-footed cross in the box. Hyacinth with the header, but just over the net. Good two-man game there between Fives and Hyacinth.
And another great opportunity for Indiana as we see Fives using his feet to get around his defender and just try and get to Hyacinth on that cross. Couldn't get his head around it, though.
Goal kick coming from Eric Dick, who still has a clean sheet this match. Looking for his 5th shutout of the season. The All-Big East performer last season's a redshirt junior. Another Carmel, Indiana native. This game is for the bragging rights of the state. 2 top 10 teams, along with Notre Dame, controlling the state of Indiana. Known as a basketball state, but this season definitely a men's soccer state as well. Ballard in the box, left to Fives. Weak cross is scooped up there by Dick. And he'll take his time getting up.
Seemed like a little bit of a miscommunication there between Fives and Hyacinth. Hyacinth didn't seem to make that near post run that Fives was looking for. But Indiana continued to make a lot of their work coming on this near side thanks to the efforts of Fives and Gutman. Look for that to continue being where they find their success.
Saw Butler taking its time. Good patience with a 2-0 lead. No need to rush things, especially on the road against the number 6 team in the country in Indiana. Suddick, first touch to Goldsmith. Kim plays it near sideline to Ostrowski. Ball played in the box, right-footed cross, but right to Webb, who picks it up and will start the counterattack for the Hoosiers. Fives on the move near sideline. For 1 man on him, he'll play it back. And Eddie, in the halftime interview, Coach Todd Yeagley said, he'll keep things the same. But I think at this point, down 2-0 with 20 minutes left, does he keep things the same, or do you switch up your formation? Do you switch up your rotation, put some of the reserves in? What's the plan to try to get back in this game?
Indiana's had plenty of good opportunities. It's just been finding that final pass, that final touch. So you can't really change up too much. They're doing a great job pressuring with their fullbacks. Gutman's coming up. It's just about being more aggressive now here with the last 20 minutes left to go. Everyone's got to be full-fledged on the attack whenever they can.
Hyacinth gets knocked down from behind by Eric Leonard.
Free kick Indiana.
And he was just down on the ground, got up slow, then gets knocked down a second time here. Quick kick there from Trevor Schwartz to reset for Indiana.
Truly evident, though, of Hyacinth's style of play, using his body. That's what he likes to do, and he's been doing it the last few minutes. And keep watch on that moving forward.
Fives to Ballard. Ballard in the move, left side of the box, cross. Deflected away by Butler. Diving Hyacinth could not get there quite in time.
But that's 3 straight opportunities trying to find Hyacinth on that near post, making that late run there. If they can just convert once, Hyacinth has great chances to try and get in the back of the net.
There we see Jeremiah Guteyard, the Bloomington native, coming on the pitch for the first time this evening. Rich Ballard subbed off. Would expect Ballard to come back in the game and then maybe closing 10 minutes or so. Get him a late rest before he comes on for a final run. Looks like Galliford as well will sub on sometime soon for the Bulldogs.
Jeremiah Guteyard, strong center midfielder that always knew Indiana would be his home. Of course, the Bloomington native, when speaking to him prior to this game, mentioned that this program was exactly where he wanted to be.
Both parents are graduates of Stanford. His dad is a professor here at Indiana University. There we see Harry Lambouz coming off the pitch. Galliford coming back on.
He replaces number 10, Marco Haralambos.
Leonard's deflection goes out of bounds. Throw in here for Indiana. And Eddie, if you think this game is over, I would say that you're wrong. Not you specifically, but any fan watching this game. In 2013, Indiana led 2-0 with 5 minutes to go, and Butler came back, forced an overtime, and then David Goldsmith, of all people, scored the game winner in a 3-2 victory here in Bloomington. So I think there's still enough time left for either side here that I don't think the scoring's done.
And definitely with the amount of chances Indiana's gotten, they just got to find one more and start to get on the board, start to build that momentum.
Thompson plays in the box, headed to Hyacinth, top of the key. There's Frankie Moore, plays it wide to Buckmaster, right side of the box, right-footed cross in the box. Cross comes short to Hyacinth. Frankie Moore resets, deflected by Galliford. Moore wants a handball, but no call there from the official. Creviston resets for the Hoosiers. Lillard with space, the 6'4" junior defender. Plays it forward to Hyacinth in the box. Quick touch there, but no one's there to finish it. Another missed opportunity for Indiana.
But what we saw there, Grant Lillard even coming from his center back position, coming up and helping the offense, only leaving Derek Creviston back there. That's what you have to do if you're Indiana. Push the bodies forward and finds Hyacinth at the top of the box.
Thompson, ball at his feet, right-footed shot. Ambitious attempt there is deflected away by Leonard. Lillard scoops it up, resets to Creviston. Francisco Moore with the cross, switches fields to Phil Fives. He has Gutman to his right, he'll play it there. Left-footed strike by Gutman, that's a rocket. Nearly takes out a photographer behind the field, but wide right. Now we go down to Katie Kapusta. Katie, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. One thing that's very unusual about Butler's team overall is how many international players they have. They have 7 international players, 6 that have started every single game so far this season. Now they range coming from places from England to Dubai to Finland to Cyprus. And Coach State told us yesterday that his international players need to be able to add value and be able to play in pressure. Obviously, we've seen that from David Goldsmith tonight, and adds a lot of depth to their offense. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Katie. Lots of international flavor for sure for Butler as you take a corner kick here for Indiana. Tanner Thompson sends it in the box. Finished there by Indiana. That's a goal. Hoosiers. Austin Pancho with the finish on the left side. Just beats Eric Dick on the far post. Left-footed finish. We see the replay here. It's Trevor Schwartz with the cross. Ball played to Tanner Thompson. Nutmegs the defender. That was Bennett Kim there on the goal line. Indiana's back in this 2-1 with 15:27 to play in this top 10 matchup.
And Indiana been struggling all game to get into the box, get those close opportunities. There's no better chance than on a corner kick as that falls to Thompson. And now Indiana's got all the momentum.
Phil Fives on the run in the box. Left-footed strike right to Eric Dick. But you can feel tides have turned a bit. Indiana is still down in this game, no doubt. 2-1 here with Butler leading. But fans are on their feet. We have the red smoke flying high in the sky for that goal. Trevor Schwartz with a great setup to Thompson on that back post.
And you've got to be really confused with Butler on the defense of that corner.
Diving save there from Webb. A bit concerning there with the dive. He'll come up with it. He'll take his time. Looks like maybe been a bit shaken up as he limps towards the 18-yard line. Not a good sign for the Hoosiers as they're trying to come back and claw back in this match.
But back to the defense on that last corner. Tanner Thompson completely untouched, which is kind of remarkable being that he's one of the best players in the country. And now with that one, that's his 4th on the season, putting him tied with Richie Ballard for most on this Hoosiers team.
Butler kick up coming. Here's a replay. We see Colin Webb goes up, gets caught up under Goldsmith. It's that right leg, goes down hard, a bit slow to get up. We see him stretching right now as Butler's about to have this free kick. Will be Lewis Suddick here for Butler. And Thompson, going back to that last goal, he's usually the one that takes the kick on those corners, but there he's on the receiving end for his 4th goal of the season. Galliford, left-footed strike, bit high over the crossbar. We have less than 14 minutes to play here in Bloomington, 2-1. Number 7 Butler leads number 6 Indiana. These two teams have been close in recent years. Since 2009, the record is 3-3-2. Both teams winning 3 of the matches and then tying twice. And Indiana now looking for that equalizer as the second half draws to a close. Galliford near sideline. Poor touch, and it goes out of bounds. Throw in upcoming for Andrew Gutman. Thompson was in the right place at the right time. Just 5'7", not a big guy, but put his left foot on it. Nutmegged Bennett Kim on the goal line, and the Hoosiers are on the board, and that's certainly a good way to end a scoring drought. Hyacinth to Thompson. He'll pull it back to Hyacinth. Geldenhuis will clear it over the Indiana bench. Throw in upcoming for the Hoosiers.
Continue to watch where Tanner Thompson is playing on the pitch. Kind of doing a lot of work on this near side as of the last few plays.
Cross by Thompson. It's a diving Schwartz, but could not quite get his head on a good attempt there. But Eric Dick is there once again to scoop it up. We see the replay here. Thompson, right-footed cross. And Schwartz covered some serious ground, about 10 feet or so on that dive, but still comes up just short.
And once again, Tanner Thompson with these great balls into the box. He's got plenty of curve whenever he sends it in. Just unable to get on the end of that one is Schwartz.
One thing, Eddie, that we have not mentioned yet is there's a very good substitution before that goal for Indiana. We saw that Derek Creviston, the redshirt senior defender, came off the pitch. Rich Ballard came on. Very offensive-minded switch. Moments later, Indiana scores. Good tactical decision there for the Hoosiers and Coach Todd Yegley. Lewis Suddick on the run, plays it to Leonard. Deflected there by Gutyar, the Bloomington native.
When you're making a substitution like that, that leaves Indiana with really one true defender in Lillard, who's going to kind of play more of a sweeper role. That's what you got to do when you're down by 2 and now only down by 1. Indiana going to continue to push that attack, try and find that last goal with 11:30 left to go.
And we see since Ballard's substitution, he is playing more of a midfielder role, playing back a little bit with Rashad Hyacinth up top. Ball played across the fields to Lewis Suddick. One-on-one matchup here on the right side of the box. He'll cut right then left. In the box, still has the ball. Ball still alive, and there is Lillard, the sweeper, clearing the ball away. Good chance for Butler to add a third goal to the scoreboard tonight, but comes up short. Counterattack here for the Hoosiers. Tanner Thompson plays it left to Rashad Hyacinth. In the box, left side, takes a dribble, left-footed cross. Ball still alive at his feet. And there's no one there to scoop it up. And we'll have a penalty kick, it looks like, for Indiana. The official awards it. Joe Molden is furious. He can't believe it. Looks like a handball in the box. Here's the replay. Rashad Hyacinth, left-footed strike. Molden gets the initial block. On the second attempt there, when he crosses it back, deflects off of a Butler defender. Tough to see who, but good eye there by the official. And a huge kick-up coming for Tanner Thompson. This is the guy you want. Your senior scored once just moments ago. And if he nets this, this game is tied in Bloomington with 10 minutes to play. This is anyone's ball game if this shot goes in.
Plenty of havoc back and forth. Some absolutely exciting soccer, which is no surprise when you've got two of the best teams in the country. And now it all comes down to this shot right here. Also crucial to take note of the fact that Eric Dick is 6'5". Not much space for Thompson to shoot it in, but Thompson, one of the more clinical players in the country. So we see both benches excited and ready for this one.
Dick with the block, fives to the finish. No one is there to corral it. Goal, Indiana, the equalizer off the deflection. And Butler's defense cannot believe it, and the Hoosiers are ecstatic. Thompson's initial penalty kick was blocked, but Trevor Schwartz on the right side. As you see the replay, Thompson goes left, blocked by Dick. Phil Fives with the follow-up. Dick again, the 6'5" length is blocked. And there's Trevor Schwartz. Slides in on that far sideline, and Joe Molden's deflection goes top net. And this is anyone's ball game in Bloomington.
Completely consistent with what we've seen so far from Indiana. Their best shot opportunities have been coming when they've been bringing plenty of bodies into the box, getting the rebound opportunity there after that Thompson shot. And we've got an incredible game going.
Still over 10 minutes to play here in Bloomington. Tides have turned significantly in the past 10 minutes. So Indiana was all but out of this game, down 2-0 on their home turf to the #7 team in the country. Then Tanner Thompson creating opportunities, and Trevor Schwartz getting his second goal of the season, and it couldn't have come at a bigger time.
Scored by number 17, Jeremiah Gutjahr. The assist to 14, Phil Fives.
Eric Leonard goes right, and Colin Webb with a big save. The quick counterattack there by Butler. Shot goes right within the reach of Colin Webb. Eric Leonard, right-footed strike. Not a huge target there to aim at, but Colin Webb made himself big and came up with a huge save. Lewis Suddick on the far side on this corner for Butler. Will play it into the box. Booming high kick. Headed up once. There's Gutjahr on the end line. Play it near sideline. Galliford makes his move right with 2 defenders on. Back to Witskin. Good defense there on the near sideline from Fives. Officials ruled it was last touched by Fives. Butler throw-in upcoming.
Something to take note of, Indiana playing so aggressively in the last few minutes, and it's really worked to their success. Whether Indiana might start bringing their play back, starting getting a little more defensive now that it's a tied match, or whether they'll continue to just brigade that offense.
Molden plays it forward. Suddick with a throw in here upcoming for Butler, but not before a substitution. As you see, Michael Pay getting his first run of the evening. The sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, the defender coming on the field, 6'3", good size. And he'll come on in favor of Tanner Witskin, Carmel, Indiana native, who's played a good match, but he'll come off, as well as the Hoosiers, also making some changes to their lineup. Trevor Schwartz, the goal scorer for the Hoosiers in that last goal, coming off. Francisco Moore wins possession. Plays it back to Gutman. Fives with options around him. Hyacinth goes down, and the official awards a kick for Indiana. We've seen some good luck off of set pieces tonight for the Hoosiers. We'll see what they can do here. With a bit of a lengthy kick upcoming for Tanner Thompson or Andrew Gutman. They have a 2-man setup right now with the ball. Gutman in the corner. Booming left-footed cross into the box. Pancho runs it down. Plays it wide to Buckmaster.
Something you have to appreciate in these last few minutes is how well Rashad Hyacinth has been using his strength to create opportunities. Of course, he's had a few chances near post. Look for him in these last 7 minutes to potentially get a big chance.
Free kick, Butler.
Big hit there by Moore, knocking down Haralambous. Lewis Suddick near sideline with space in front of him. We'll cut back towards midfield. Plays it to the far sideline. Back to Suddick, the freshman Englishman. Chip in the box, no one's there, but Webb, the goalkeeper, scoops it up and takes his time.
You know who we haven't really mentioned in the last maybe 15, 20 minutes is David Goldsmith, creating those 2 big chances for Butler, but since then he's been pretty inactive. Indiana doing a good job adjusting to his pace and controlling him. If Butler wants to get back on the board, they're going to have to look to Goldsmith again.
And that credit is due to Grant Lillard, who's been stuck to Goldsmith like glue, as we see ball played out wide to Suddick. Gutman in defense, cuts right-footed strike in the box, goes just past the left post. Good effort there by Suddick, looking for his 7th goal of the season. May have one Indiana defender down in the box. It's the official calls time. Here's a replay. Good attempt there by Suddick.
And what he was looking for was Goldsmith on that one with that low cross, getting across the body of Webb, just so close. It's, of course, soccer, a game of inches.
And that's Grant Lillard down, working that left ankle. Get some help up from the official. And he hops off gingerly Not a good sign here with just 6 minutes left in this matchup. And he looks to be doing well enough to stay in this game. Certainly a big factor in shutting down Goldsmith since those 2 goals that Butler scored in quick succession. Butler getting a taste of its own medicine after having erased 2-0 leads in the past 3 seasons in this matchup. Indiana finally getting a chance to do the same here. Tanner Thompson on the run with Phil Fives to his left, Hyacinth to his right. He'll go to Hyacinth. In the box, stutter step. Played back to Gutjahr, played back in the box to Buckmaster. Ball is deflected. Some confusion on where the ball is awarded. It is given a corner kick to Indiana. We saw last time Indiana had a corner, a really good thing happened. Tanner Thompson got his foot on the ball, nutmegged the defender, and scored the first goal for Indiana this game. And we'll have Phil Fives taking this one, coming across the field. Indiana's pushing up big time, but also not leaving David Goldsmith alone at midfield. Got to watch out for a counterattack. Left-footed cross by Fives in the box. Hyacinth was there, but not enough to hit it in the box. Left-footed strikes blocked. Tanner Thompson on the rebound. Off the back of Michael Pay. Ball still live, Fives with the header. And there, Butler finally gets a chance to clear the ball. Played up to David Goldsmith on the counterattack. It's a 1-on-2 attack right now with Galliford streaking across midfield. Goldsmith plays it right, plays it left. Left-footed cross. Diving save by Webb. Excellent effort, but ball still live in the box. Back to Goldsmith. Top of the key. Goes wide left. The goal looked big to Goldsmith, but that shot was just off the mark. Webb finally get a chance to having a rest after a few huge saves. We see the replay here, Eddie.
A huge rip from the top of the box, just wide of net, and we've seen some huge back and forth action as the crowd really getting into it now. Indiana, resemblant of that last quarter that they scored off of, the ball dropping down to a few guys, a few chances, just couldn't find the back of the net, and then Goldsmith always extremely aggressive on that counterattack, using his pace, unable to score there, but some miraculous soccer in these last 4 minutes as the game is really starting to open up.
To be honest, Eddie, on first look, I thought that shot may have gone in. Great attempt there by Goldsmith, just wide left. And we see Trevor Schwartz, who scored the equalizer. He's coming back on the pitch. We see some substitutions late here for Indiana. Phil Fives, who took that last corner, coming off the pitch. We see Ostrowski coming off for Butler. Some late tactical moves here by both coaches. With 4:10 remaining to play here at Bill Armstrong Stadium. A 2-2 draw at this point. And Webb sends a booming kick past midfield.
Something to take note of, though. Webb not getting a lot of action, but when he has, he's been absolutely remarkable, making some big key saves. And it's important for him to stay ready for more Butler opportunities.
That's all you can ask for from your senior goalkeeper. I think those 2 goals weren't his fault per se. Both of them were great shots that kind of had him off balance, especially that first one, which was deflected off of Lillard, it looked like. But he has risen to the challenge when he has had to. Some great diving saves, especially on that last attempt. Ball played forward to Hyacinth. So we see Webb walking a little bit gingerly right now. They've been shaken up after that last sequence. But he stays in the game with just 3.5 minutes to play here in regulation. Galliford, one touch to Leonard. Tanner Thompson on the move, plays it back, then plays it forward. Looking for Hyacinth, and he's tangled up. No call there from the officials.
A little frustration from Hyacinth. It seems like Indiana has not been able to maintain that same control they had prior.
Thompson on the move, on the run. Good pace there from the senior. Man to his right, and he'll go there. Crossing the box. A bit aggressive there, and it will sail out of bounds over the goal.
And looking at how this game has really changed over the last 20 or so minutes, a lot of it has come from the senior leadership of Indiana. Tanner Thompson, of course, with that huge goal. Colin Webb playing remarkably well back in net. And then Grant Lillard doing a great job of locking down David Goldsmith over the last 20 minutes. Senior leadership for the Indiana Hoosiers has been the key in this big second half.
Gutman plays it to Hyacinth. Good 3-man game. Tanner Thompson cuts back. He'll reset. Good footwork there from the senior. Maintains possession despite contact. They'll play it back to Gutman. Left-footed cross by Gutman, looking for Hyacinth. No one there to complete that cross. Buckmaster keeps it alive. Creviston, who's back in the game, was subbed off for Ballard, and that first goal was scored with Creviston on the bench. Cross to Hyacinth. Left-footed volley is off the mark. Good effort there from Rashad Hyacinth, but not the strongest kick there. It will be a Butler goal kick with 1.5 minutes here to play. Eric Dick taking his time in goal.
Of course, fatigue might play a huge factor as we see ourselves approaching a potential overtime. Butler running a pretty small lineup in Indiana with plenty of depth.
Schwartz plays it wide to Buckmaster. He'll chase it down with Michael Pay in defense. Buckmaster in the box. Right-footed cross, but right to Dick, who looks to set up the counterattack and looks for Goldsmith. But Grant Lillard is there to head it away. Officially under 1 minute to play here at Jerry Egley Field at Bill Armstrong Stadium. 2-2 between two top 10 teams, both residing in the state of Indiana, looking to find who the best team is within the state. Left-footed cross there to Gutyar in the box. Trap. And the official blows him offsides. The Indiana bench is in disbelief. Suddick plays it forward to Goldsmith. Bodied up by Lillard. Quick throw there from Goldsmith. Haralambous plays it back to Timmer. To Leonard. To Goldsmith in the box. Cuts back right. Good defense there from Lillard. Clears it away. Tanner Thompson will have the ball here. 10 seconds remaining. Eric Leonard, left-footed cross. Time is winding down, and this one will head to overtime as Tanner Thompson sends it forward to no avail. Through regulation, there is no separation between these two teams. 2-2. They entered halftime scoreless. Then 4 goals scored in a flurry. First 2 by Butler, then a Tanner Thompson-led run by Indiana. And a really Herculean effort there by the Hoosiers to force overtime. Eddie, what's the key going forward this overtime period?
I mean, something we've mentioned a few times has been the fatigue level. The energy that Indiana was able to bring towards the end of that second half allowed them to force key turnovers, get on the counterattack, put pressure on that Butler back line. And as we move into overtime, Indiana's going to have to use that depth to try and find that third goal.
Here we see some of the highlights from that second half. There, Tanner Thompson on the receiving end of a Phil Fives corner. Then Thompson also took a penalty kick that was deflected first by Fives, and then Trevor Schwartz on the weak side getting that finish to tie the game up at 2-2. We saw great goalkeeping by both sides. Eric Dick and Colin Webb both been a bit shaken up this game, but staying strong. And this should be a very exciting overtime period as we return in Bloomington. For Eddie Coaten and Katie Kapusta, I'm Andy Witchery. Stay with us here on the Big Ten Network. Through 90 minutes, there was no difference between Indiana and Butler. A 2-2 draw, forced overtime here in Bloomington. Of course, overtime rules do apply, so they'll play 2 10-minute overtime periods if necessary. Golden goal rules, so the first goal that happens will be the game winner here at Bill Armstrong Stadium. We saw Butler take a 2-0 lead middle of the second half, and then Indiana roared back. Goals from Tanner Thompson and Trevor Schwartz. There was an early start there on the kickoff. They're forced to reset here. As we mentioned, 10 minutes here for the first overtime period. Golden goal rules apply here in Bloomington. Leonard resets for Butler, far sideline. To Haralambous, 2 men on him. He goes down, no call by the, oh, there's a call from the officials. There'll be a Butler kick upcoming.
free kick, Butler.
And something we've really talked about throughout this game is Indiana. They've struggled to score all year, as we see this takedown here. They've struggled to score all year, and it's all been trying to find that right connection, trying to find that right rotation, that right lineup. One player that we saw in the starting lineup today, Reese Wedderburn, came out early and haven't seen him come in. And ever since in the second half, Indiana seemed to have found those connections, putting two on in the back of the net.
Indiana has largely controlled this game. Besides that stretch where they had 2 goals surrendered, they've often dictated the pace, the time of possession of this game, had the ball, and they're attacking third. And they're on the move. Ballard plays the ball to Schwartz. Excuse me, that's Austin Pancho up front for Indiana. Creviston on the defense there. Galliford attempting to pick up the ball. But Indiana has outshot Butler 27-14 this game. It's only a matter of time until the Hoosiers got on the board and they used that set piece they had. First the corner kick, then the penalty kick to claw their way back into this game and force overtime.
And you mentioned it, though. Indiana has held a lot of the possession, but their best chances have actually come off of turnovers with space in the counterattack, and that's what they love to do.
And the same could be said for Butler as well, with David Goldsmith up top, the 5'9" senior. There's Phil Fives in the box. Cuts left. Left-footed shot right at Eric Dick. Fives had his eyes on a game winner, but struck the ball right to the keeper. So we see the replay here.
Fives doing a great job keeping control close to his body and then giving it a rip. It's tough to do, keeping such tight control at the top of the box, but Indiana fielding some of the more talented players in the country that are able to do that just perfectly.
Pancho on the move, cross midfield, plays it right. That's Buckmaster, the orange cleats. Back to Pancho, in the box, good touch. In the box, ball still loose. There's Schwartz. Gutman on the near sideline. Phil Fives to his left, Tanner Thompson to his right. Thompson has possession, cuts left, plays it wide to Fives. Left-footed cross in the box. Poor touch there from Gelden Hayes, setting up a corner kick. We know what happened late in the second half when Phil Fives took a corner kick and found Tanner Thompson on that far post. We see the Hoosiers packing the box here. Just Francisco Moore and back guarding David Goldsmith, but the rest of the Hoosiers are pushed forward into the box looking for the game winner. Tanner Thompson here with the corner upcoming.
And watch Creviston near post. He's been making a few of those runs whenever Tanner takes the corner.
Here's Thompson on the left side. Cross into the box. Lots of action. Headed away. But right back to Thompson. Ball still in play. Another cross in the box on the far side. Headed away by Eric Leonard. There's Pancho. Ball being headed several times up in the air. There's Galliford. Brings it down. There's Creviston. Dishes it wide right to Ballard. Big strike on the right side of the box. Ball goes high over the crossbar. Good setup there by Creviston, the defender, playing forward, looking to Ballard on his right side, with a shot just off the mark.
You have to be a little bit suspect about that opportunity. Indiana doing a great job putting on the pressure, but Ballard at a tough angle off his right foot. Even if he had gotten that on net, it would have been a difficult one to get by Dick.
There's Michael Pay, plays it wide. Hare Lambus switches fields. Goldsmith with space, plays it to Lewis Suddick. Right side. Cross in the box, headed away by Indiana. Ostrowski brings it back down. Gutman with possession for the Hoosiers. Plays it forward to Ballard. Ballard's taken down. Todd Yeagley is asking for a foul call, and he gets it. Ballard a bit shaken up, rubbing his right shoulder, but he'll get up fine and shake it off. So we see the replay here. And Grant Lillard is down right now on the pitch. We saw him. He was the one that passed that forward to Ballard. He's currently stretching. Looks like it might be some cramping. We see a trainer run out to the field. And Lillard has been huge in the second half and beyond. He's been man guarding David Goldsmith largely for the latter half of this game. He's being stretched out. Looks like maybe a hamstring on that left leg. Also a substitution, looks like, for Indiana.
Indiana substitution. Entering the match is number 20.
That'll be Timmy Mel.
Timmy Mel. He replaces number 5.
He's replacing
Grant
Lillard. Mel was the one that when Lillard missed a match against Maryland due to 2 yellow cards the previous game, Mel came on in his stead and played a strong 90 minutes the next game. And you hate to see one of Indiana's best players go to the sideline with what looks like could be cramping. Ball played forward from Thompson. Headed wide to Fives. Overlap there with Gutyar. Gutyar's cross is deflected. Ball still alive in the box. Ball in the middle of the goal. They are cleared away. Ball was in front of the net, and Indiana could not put a foot on it. Eric Dick does not look too pleased with that outcome. We see Gutyar with the cross was deflected and somehow just squirts out in front. Richard Ballard was almost there, but was a step slow. Thompson and Crevison resetting for the Hoosiers. Ball played up to Ballard. Harold Lamboose looking for a counterattack with 2 men on. Goldsmith plays it wide left. They cut left towards the end line. Mel leaves it for Webb, who scoops it up without issue. We see overtime, at least the first period, it's more than halfway expired. Just under 4 minutes to play here in this first overtime period at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Buckmaster on the far sideline with options in front.
So far, we've seen much of the same thing we saw towards the end of the second half. Indiana continuing to put that pressure on, get good scoring opportunities. And Butler, what they're going to have to look for if they're going to try and score the game-winning goal is trying to get David Goldsmith to take advantage of the new substitution in the game, Timmy Mel, and see how adjusted he can be.
Thompson with space. Deflects the contact from Timmer, plays it forward to Ballard, cuts it back. The man to his left. He'll play there to Phil Fives in the box. Makes some moves left. In front of the goal. Goal! Game winner, Indiana. The Hoosiers win 3-2. The cross from Phil Fives is scooped up in front of the net. And Indiana mobs at the near sideline. We see the replay here. Ballard dishes it left to Phil Fives. He'll make one move right, then left, and then leaves it in front of the net for Austin Pancho with the game winner. The sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri, with his first goal of the season. It could not have come at a bigger time. The Hoosiers erase a 2-0 deficit and win in overtime to defeat number 7 Butler here on the home turf of the Hoosiers.
And we look at this replay again. A beautiful low cross to the far post for Pancho. Just in the right place at the right time, getting his foot on that one. And Indiana pulling away with a huge victory against the number 7 team in the country.